Welcome back. Welcome back.
Aaj out the charge of. Sir, how are we feeling today?
Oh, it's been a busy day to me. For me, it's been a busy day to me as well. Actually, the day has been busy to me, and I haven't been very, very busy today. But all is well, and all is good, and I'm glad I don't have a hairstyle to worry about to kind of fix up during that day. Otherwise, at times you're like, okay, I need to fix my hair. I need to do this or that. You know,
Is it one of those that would have been a bad hair day because you were
would have
rushing
been it
around?
would have been a bad head. But you know what? The hair that I do have isn't looking so bad.
I've never seen you have a bad beard day.
Oh, have you not?
No, actually not. MashaAllah, Allah Mubarak. And you know
Alhamdulillah.
what the funny thing is? This actually came up today with another brother, actually a good friend of yours.
Okay.
His name also happens to be Ali. I met him earlier today. I went for my own kind of little tidy up bit of TLC. I try and go
Okay.
once every other month. Is it MGH?
Okay. Yeah. The
Just
barbers.
around the corner.
They do some
Yeah,
fantastic work, and they even do good work with the homeless community.
with
And
Humanity Unites.
yeah,
Yeah,
Humanity Unites. Yeah, they do free
we just
haircuts.
we just got talking, and he goes, "Brother, I recognize you." He goes, "Are you Majid's friend?" I was like, "I don't know, man. Sometimes on a good day." And he goes, "Yeah, I've seen you before somewhere." And we had a good chat. He's a good brother, mashallah, very, very good brother.
Good.
And for a barber to be complimenting your beard is says it all, really, isn't
Oh,
it?
did he compliment it? Oh, mashallah. That's
Yeah.
wow.
He says you're
Wow.
very, very meticulous.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
You should tell me more often. It's a good feel good factor. Like how women feel good when you tell them the hair looks good or whatever like that. So you should tell the
I've
brothers that the beards are looking good when they're looking good. It's a
I've
feel good
never told a
factor. Just
woman
in
that her
case
hair looks good
you never
ever.
told your wife.
Never.
You're slacking, mate. You're slacking.
I've genuinely never ever told anybody that their hair looks good, male or female. To be fair, probably not that I can remember.
That's not right. That's not right.
I'm just not a hair person. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I wouldn't even
Well,
know. I wouldn't even know. Well, yeah.
well, there you go.
Obviously
There
not
you
a
go.
hair person. Well,
Obviously
where are
not.
we today then? How are we doing this? What's
Well, hopefully this is just going to be a light-hearted conversation and nothing too serious. But I've got a feeling that some of the points in that topic might end up becoming serious. And I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today, not today, yesterday, and he mentioned men's grooming products within this particular topic. Salma says, "Please don't tell a woman her beard looks good."
but if
So
it
yeah,
does,
well, if it does, you know what? There is a lady who is following the pure Sikhi way, and I've seen the Sikh lady. She wears a turban and she dons her beard, quite confidently, because it's a part of their religion that they can't cut hair or shave hair or something like that.
okay.
So more power to her as far as I'm concerned. If that's her firm belief and she's going out there doing that, then maybe you do want to compliment that kind of a beard. well, maybe the sisters want to compliment it. It might actually be better than some of the brothers' beards, because who was it? Somebody earlier today was telling us on social media, I'm not going to be tuning into your program today because I don't have much of a beard. Rafiq, yes.
Yeah, our Bangladeshi brother. But I feel for some of these guys, man. Bangladeshis, is it some Malaysian brothers, Indonesians, sort of Chinese, that part of the world.
Yeah,
They
naturally
struggle.
within
Yeah.
some parts of the world, it's naturally they don't have dense or thick hair growth when it comes to
Mm.
beards. So yeah, I guess it's genetics there, isn't it?
Mm.
It's
I don't know
genetics.
how I would deal with that, to be honest.
Well, it would be the norm, wouldn't it,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you?
I don't want to think about it. Let's not talk about it.
It would be the norm if you were in that community and most people were that way. Then it would be the norm. I
Yeah.
suppose you'd be um, what would be the word? What would be the word? Extraordinary if you did have a thick, dense beard. If you come from those kinds of countries where genetically you
Mm.
don't have thick beards.
I sometimes wonder, when you see somebody with like literally no beard or just a few hairs here or there or a bit of a goatee, coming
Hmm.
into effect. And you have to commend them because look, obviously our beards grow fairly even and decent and thick, yeah. And I thought, why don't they just sort of shave until the point where it starts to get more coarse and more thicker? Because obviously shaving makes your beard grow back thicker, doesn't it?
They say that, but some people say that that's actually a myth. I tell you what they do say though. They say that when and originally in your youth, if you keep shaving those areas, the finer hairs start to grow thicker. Yeah.
Mm,
But they also say that if you want to grow a beard, you need to at least let it grow for 6 months without, messing about with it too much, right? Because
okay.
within those 6 months, what happens is, the finer hairs in within your beard, like some people have like bald patches somewhere here or somewhere down just below the mustache,
Mm.
and the beard doesn't connect to the mustache. So they say what you need to do is just let it grow. And if you let it grow, let it grow.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew straight away.
it was there for the taking. So when you let it grow, apparently the finer hair starts to grow thicker when it comes, with the length. Abid says, I've been shaving my head for 15 years, still no growth.
It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work like that. I wish it did. I wish it did.
Oh,
But no,
goodness.
so the face thing, I think it's true because I've seen, certain brothers who would sort of shave and it would come back thicker, even through sort of school, college years. And
Yeah.
some of them have ended up with beards literally under their eyes, all the way sort of up here.
I think
Do you know
that's
what
I think that's a part of genetics as well, because I've seen like guys whose back hair joins with the neckline and the head on their head.
I'm one of those guys. Yeah.
Are you? But I think that's just genetics, and some people have a natural beard line which goes from probably mid, the lobes of your ear,
Yeah.
down towards the top of your mustache, and some of it goes actually higher, some goes lower. But it all depends on each individual, doesn't it? Different
So
individuals.
where's your natural line, if you would sort of show us?
My natural line, where you can see it right now, is probably half a centimeter above that, but it's not straight. So that's why I just bring it closer in line with all the bits that are straight.
Okay.
So where there is hair, so probably half a centimeter above the line that I keep.
Okay,
in
so
my
what
beard
you
there.
do is you take it down a notch to where it's sort of thick, straight, and
Even,
nice
yeah,
growth.
yeah.
Okay, that
The
makes sense.
thick part of it. But even then, to blend it in, because I've got a bald head, from my sideburns and the top of my beard, I'll trim
Mm,
it because I do my beard myself. So I'll trim it from the top and the
mm,
sideburns with like, to have a bit of a gradients in there. Do you know what I mean? To kind of
mm,
blend it in, because I don't like the idea of having just really thick sideburns and thick just up on your cheek and then just dropping down. It just doesn't feel right and doesn't look right. But when it's blended in, unless
mm.
it's the same length as yours, like if you keep a really long beard like you, then
Yeah.
obviously you're letting all that grow at the same time and it's different. But if you've got a kind of a beard which is the same length as mine, then it's probably better to kind of, even if I had a beard, if I kept a beard of that length like yours, I would
Mm.
still want to kind of blend it in just to kind of make it look a bit sharper.
Yeah, I've started doing that a lot more recently. I don't know if you remember, but it used to be sort of one length all over, and especially
Mm,
around at the ears, it'd be quite
yeah,
thick.
yeah.
And I think it might have been you that sort of encouraged me to do it.
Well, it's
But I
funny
started.
talking about beards. I was at a networking event. Chutney and Chat, Abid's obviously listening to us as well today, his event in Birmingham. And there were a
Mm,
couple of guys who were talking about my beard and, they were asking about, the different ways of maintaining their own beards. And one of the things I said to them, because some of them, what they were doing is, the beard at the bottom,
mm,
they were shaving it either straight or curved downwards. Yeah. So what
okay.
happens is, if you've got a short beard and you're shaving it straight on your neck,
Yeah.
where the line is, then
Mm,
when you look down, that's going to give you a U shape downwards and make your chin look saggy. Yeah. But if you shave like a curvature upwards towards your chin like that, I don't know if you can
mm.
see that.
Yeah, yeah, we can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then when you look down, then it will actually look straight. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So these are little tips that you learn along the way when you do
Would you
your own
ever let
thing.
it go? Would you ever just let it grow, top, middle, bottom, the whole thing? Because I haven't cleaned up the bottom of mine
Yeah.
for years. I just don't, and it kind of it just kind of blends in. And I
Yeah,
remember
I mean,
because
if you've got a beard of your length, unless it's
mm,
joined to your chest hairs,
mm,
then
which
that's a
I
different.
also
But
yeah
if it's not, then there's nothing wrong because my beard finishes around here,
mm,
which is where my Adam's apple is, right? So I shave just slightly above there to give it the shape. But if I was to keep it a long beard, which I'm actually considering for possibly in the future,
to
then
it.
I may
Right.
not need to. Yeah, I may not need to shave the bottom bit because
It's quite irritating, applying sort of a razor blade to any part of your face, and especially sort of your neck area. I don't know if I have slightly sensitive skin, so
dude, I'm
you
a
know,
sensitive guy all around. Never mind just the skin. So yeah,
well,
I get it. I understand. I
you're
totally
round
understand.
and sensitive.
I won't even argue with that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think applying a razor blade to sort of any part of your face is a lot of discomfort, and once you just sort of let it grow, and a lot of people make
Yeah,
this mistake is that they want to
yeah, that's
they
true.
want to
That's
over
true.
neaten it and over tidy it, and they sort of
Yeah,
overcompensate. And I'm thinking,
yeah.
stick it out for a little bit, and maybe this sort of lockdown period or something was a perfect opportunity
I've
for a
seen
lot of
lots of
people.
guys who have grown beards over the lockdown period, and you know what actually looks good on them. And
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
a lot of people think the beard won't look good, and I suppose
Mm,
that brings us to the question: does the beard maketh the man, or does beard maketh the man? And
mm,
I think having now grown a beard, because I've only grown my full beard in the last 3 years or so, two and a half,
mm.
3 years. Um, I
How
mean,
did it look before that? I can't remember now. It
I
was a
had
lot shorter, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had a really faint kind of a beard on the sides, and then
We
I
should
had
we should get a picture. You should get a picture of how sort of before and
let
after.
me see
I've
whilst we're on
I've
the subject.
never seen. You know how you get a lot of people think, oh, if I did this, I wouldn't look good. This wouldn't suit me. I wish I could rock a beard.
Hmm,
Genuinely speaking, guys, and this goes out to all the brothers listening. I've never seen a beard not suit somebody.
that's
Have
true.
you? You know,
The only time I've seen somebody not look good in a beard is if they've not um, groomed it properly or they've not taken care of it properly.
yeah,
Like
maybe
when I
they've
was
not
mentioning,
maintained it. Yeah.
yeah, like I was mentioning the shaving from the bottom. That if they've shaved it downwards,
Mm,
then it will make their chin look. Because if you've got a round face anyway, yeah, then the last thing you want to do is make it look more round
round,
by
yeah.
not shaving it properly here. Yeah. So if you because you can actually sculpt the shape of your face if you look after your beard properly. So you could make your people talk about jaw lines and all that kind of stuff. But if you shave or cut your beard in a way and make it look
Mm.
sharper, you can look sharper even if you've got a rounder face and you want to complement it with some facial hair. You can do that and sculpt the beard in a way that complements your overall look.
What do you think the main struggle is for men when they're struggling to sort of
From my conversations, what I've noticed is most men give up keeping the beard because they get that early, in the early days, they get that irritation
mm,
and they think, oh, it's irritating. And that's mainly because, they probably don't look after it properly. Maybe they don't shave it properly, or maybe they don't put the right oils on. You can get so many oils on the market. But the problem
mm.
is some of them are they're not natural oils,
Yeah,
they're
there's a
like
lot
a
of
lot of
chemicals in
chemicals.
there, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
so beard balms and all that. And if they just persevered with it for a while, then yeah, they would be able to keep it. And I think that's one of the main reasons why people don't do it.
Mm. Yeah, there's
Unless,
still a lot of stereotypes and a lot of stigmas around bearded men, isn't there? And I think it's always a shame to see people put off
mm,
by
mm,
sort of, doing something that they want to do, or maybe something that they sort of should do, or, if we're talking sort of from a faith base or whatever. But let it grow, man. Seriously, guys, you're missing out. I want to say you're missing out on all the fun. It's not always fun, but
it's
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 fun.
maintenance. You've got to maintain it. But the thing is, I think you know what. Here's the other thing: if you haven't got hair on your head, if you're a bald chap, then I would say definitely grow your beard. You have to grow your beard. If you're bald, you would look a lot better. You might be rocking whatever look you're rocking at the moment, and it might look good, but you'd look even better with some kind of facial hair.
Bro, anything is better than Mr. Potato Head, isn't it? I don't know how you rock that look. Like,
No, some people look
Yeah.
all right. I mean, some people just have like a basic stubble, or a small stubble, and some people would have like a goatee. I don't think bald people suit like a thin pencil line goatee. Some people are used to having pencil line goatees through their youth, yeah, and when they start losing hair, they keep the pencil line goatee. And I did that for a short while. Back in the days when I had a pencil line goatee and stuff, but it doesn't suit it when you've got a bald head, unless you're like really, really slim and you've got sharp jawlines and high cheekbones. I know I'm getting quite particular about this, aren't I? But it's just from my observations. Yeah.
Do you remember the pencil lines? What was the footballer? Was it Del Piero?
I have no idea. I'm not into football, so I don't.
So there was an Italian footballer that was probably the first person to pull off this sort of pencil line beard. It was just coming down, and then it was just a line goatee. And then
I remember it from just an EastEnders character. I can't remember who it was now. Was it?
Yeah,
okay.
I think he was supposed to be half Italian or something.
Okay.
But yeah, it was really a thing back in the day. I think I even did it at one point. Have a little pencil line beard and
yeah, I think all guys try it when the beard's relatively new. They try different styles to see what suits them, and it is fine because that you want to be doing that, don't you? You want to see what it looks like before you decide to go the full thing. Yeah. But that brings you on to grooming products, right? So for beards, I mean, different people use different things. And one of my mates mentioned this yesterday when we were talking about this particular subject. He goes, bro, what I don't understand, right, is these men who go around having their eyebrows plucked and having all these, he was talking about like the makeups and foundations for men, and grooming products have gone beyond just aftershave or moisturizers. It's actually gone into the realms of wearing certain types of makeup as well. I'm thinking, but I mean, I can't see myself doing that kind of thing. I mean, back in the day, I had slit eyebrows. That was something different. You shave or you create.
Wait, what do you mean a slit eyebrow? So you'd have a
couple of lines in the eyebrow, and with
Seriously?
my pencil line, with my pencil line goatee, spiked up kind of hair. You know what? My birthday is coming up in a couple of weeks, and what I might do is I'll make a comparison from 24 to so 40 something. So we'll have a mirror image.
So did you say 24 to 44?
Not 44, not that far yet, but mirror the 24, 42. So you'll see. Yeah, I might just create an image before and after kind of thing if I feel up to it. But yeah, I had shaved eyebrows. The slits in the eyebrows, pencil line beard, spiky hair, and that kind of thing. So yeah. Omar says 24 to 48, cheeky git.
It's it's really even not that far off, is it, when you think about it?
It's true.
It just passes you by. So obviously, because you've already hit 40, so you can maybe tell us a little bit more about this. The beard sort of came around roughly when you hit 40. Yeah, it probably wasn't anything to do with the fact that you were 40, but it's just something you were at a certain time and a point. What else changed? Did you find that there's certain clothes that you probably shouldn't wear anymore? You
say that, but to be honest, I've always liked to dress differently in kind of normal business life, because most of the time when I'm out is for business purposes or work purposes. And I don't like to kind of just go with the normal trends. I like to be slightly different. And I've always been like that. So I thought with the kind of, clothes that I wear for business, the beard wouldn't look bad anyway. But that wasn't the main motivation for growing my beard, to be fair. I think about 4 years ago, remember we have a group with a couple of our friends, Waj and Bash and Gaff. And I posted I posted a picture of me in there with a filter of me having a beard like this. And some of you mentioned that actually looks really good. It was a filter, but you mentioned it looked really good. And that kind of got me thinking, actually, what if I did keep a beard? What if it did look like that? you know. So I thought, okay, let's give it a try. And that's how it actually started. And then during one Ramadan about 3 years ago, I was doing a lot of housework and I was kind of rebuilding the kitchen and plastering and stuff. And I didn't have in my mind the kind of, the idea to kind of keep shaving or not shaving, but trimming my beard and all that, because I was in plaster and plumbing work all day long. So I just let it grow, and that was when it all started. I thought, okay, yeah, let's rock with it. Let's see how it goes.
Sometimes it is just as simple as that, isn't it? Just having maybe a week or two where you don't have to sort of be somewhere or be, super presentable or whatever and tidy, and then you come out of those couple of weeks and you just think, what if instead of taking it off, I just sort of trim it, neaten it, and then go from there.
Yeah, and that's how a lot of people start. Actually, some people start because of religious motivations, and some people are encouraged because of the family upbringing that they have or the kind of environment that they're brought up in. And it's kind of normal for everybody to have a beard. In fact, it's abnormal not to have a beard in some families. So, for them, it's there. It's something they know they're gonna end up doing anyway. What seems to be, I suppose, confusing is, when beard newly starts growing, and then, the kids call it bum fluff, right? The sideburns grow. And then you got a little bit of hair under your chin, and you got a little bit of hair under your earlobes, basically the sideburns are growing first.
And it just curls
and you got
out,
nothing, you got nothing in between, and it's at that stage, I think people mostly find it awkward about, wanting to keep a beard at that age. But I think most kids, most of the youth, especially the Asian lads that from what I've noticed, they want to have a beard quite quickly. They want to be seen all grown up, don't they? I don't know if you've noticed that. That's what I've noticed.
We used to, obviously, look, I've had a beard since like a young age. I was
9.
Younger than most. Yeah, not far off. And we'd have other kids in sort of, coming through year 7, year 8, and they'd want to shave their faces. And I still remember conversations to this day. They're like, if you shave against the grain, it'll grow back quicker and thicker.
I remember that.
And, you just wish that someone could have told them then, don't mess around. Honestly, that soft beard, you will never get back in all of your life. Like, you will love that.
There's another issue with shaving against the grain. One is that you're obviously going to get skin rash. Number 2, there was this thing or theory, I don't know if it's a fact, there was a theory that if you shave upwards against the grain, your hair is going to grow outwards and it's not going to grow downwards the way it should be growing. That was another thing that I'd heard. I don't know how true that is though. And obviously if you do shave against the grain upwards, you're going to get ingrown hair as well. There's a high risk of getting ingrown hair. Yasser says, Ali, your beard looks shorter. And actually, you know what? It does.
It's neater. That's what I've done. I've sort of took a little bit. Yeah, it could be the angle. Could be. I don't know. I'm always very nervous in having my beard tidied up, which is probably why you'll notice that on most given days, I just won't have it tidied. It'll be a little bit, a little bit wild, a little bit outwardly, whatever. The thing is, you can take almost nothing off. Yeah, like today, I've took almost nothing off, just kind of neatened and tidied it, but it looks half of what it was. And I'm almost sweating in that barber's chair. Almost sweating because I'm like, if he touches my beard, or like if he, that scissor is a little bit this or that way, and you see the hair dropping onto the, that sort of sheet that they put around you.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, I just want this over with. Sometimes I just want to scream, stop. I change my mind.
I think one day I need to sort your beard out just to give you a different kind of a look slightly. And make you sweat even more. Yasser says can't beat. Sorry, what was it?
No, go on.
Yeah, Yasser says can't beat shaving upwards for smoother skin. I've never had an issue with it. I don't know.
Yeah, do you know what? Smooth skin is great on women. Who doesn't appreciate a woman with smooth skin, right?
That's oh yes, sir. That's a dig. That's a dig. But
No, come on.
no, but Yasser actually looks really good with a beard.
Yeah,
And
it is. It
and
is.
he looks good with a thicker beard when he has, during Ramadan, I've seen him when he's grown his beard a bit and he's not trimmed it as much. He actually
Yeah,
looks a lot better than when it's trimmed down. Not
yeah.
long beard, like I mean, mine's even longer than his is, but short beard, but at least thicker than
I've never seen Yasser with the beard. I don't know. Have I? But it's just one of
what
those
was it?
faces that it'll suit him. He's got that kind of that look to him.
Yeah, mashallah, he's a
Um,
good-looking lad, and I think his general attire and everything, it does look good on him. So yeah, I said that if anything, you should be keeping a beard, my friend, and rock it, man, rock it. So apart from beards, at my age or even earlier, in fact, my nephew, one of my nephews recently, you're talking about Turkey for hair transplants, yeah? One of my nephews obviously didn't go to Turkey, but he went to London. There's a place in London that does something, exactly what they do in Turkey at a reasonable price as well. He's not married yet, and he's thinking, you know what, I need to at least have something for when I do get married, right?
Wait,
But
what? He's what? He's not married, but he's already in need of a hair transplant.
yeah. Well, to be fair, I
Wow.
started losing my hair when I was 16, 17 years old, right, thinning. And he's probably, inherited the same genes, and he started to
Mm.
lose his hair quite early. So he's also, concerned about, he's in his late 20s now, but he's thinking, you know what, one day soon I want to get married, and or I might, find somebody to get married to, and then I need to so at least look good in the pictures or something like that. At that age, you're still thinking about these things. So
On that note,
yeah,
do you think the wedding day or the wedding photos or the wedding movie or just the wedding as a whole, do you think it means as much to the man, the event, not obviously the marriage, but because
well, for my nephew, I mean, for him, he's keen on having um, a good function and a good event for his wedding, for the walima, at least. Not bothered about any of the other
no,
stuff.
okay, look. So generally speaking, yeah, I think for men they want to enjoy the day or they
Mm,
want to have a nice day, but for
mm.
women they'd happily not enjoy the day as long as they look good doing it.
I think that's
And
oversimplifying it. I think that's being very subjective in your views. Well, that is your view, so it's bound to be subjective. But I think that's a subjective view.
yeah.
I think you'll find that at least the newer generation,
Mm.
the generation younger than us, are probably as equally conscious of the aesthetics of weddings and how they look as much as their potential wives are.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, I can see that. From men nowadays, I can see them
Omar
going down
says,
that
Ali,
way.
you should be able to answer that one better than most of us.
Yeah, it is.
I
It's
think
one of them things.
Omar, I think he has already answered that question. If you think about it, he just wants to get straight to the booty and the chawal. But yeah, I think you'll find that a lot of people, the younger generation, because of the TikTokers, the Instagram kind of looks and Snapchatting and all that kind of thing. A lot of, I know guys in their 30s, and I make that sound like that's
Old.
right. Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. I still think kids born in the 90s are still
Kids.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, they're still kids. They're like, but do you know what I mean? But a
Yeah.
lot of them, mashallah, kids born in the 90s are in the 30s now, aren't they?
I read somewhere, and it just freaked me out a little bit. And it was like 1990 is as far away as 2050 is. We're sort of halfway between 1990 and 2050. I was like, no,
Wow.
No, I'm not ready for 2050. I just got over the fact that it's bloody 2020.
Yeah, and I was thinking it's been 2 decades since I graduated from university, 20 years. And I'm thinking, wow, 20 years. 20
Yeah.
years. It's like, what? 20? It's like sometimes you just can't comprehend it. But yeah, coming back
Mm.
to it, hair transplants. I mean,
Yes.
what are your thoughts on that? Dare I even ask?
Yeah, well, you've asked now, and there's no going back. I can't understand men's reasoning for it. I'll be honest with you. I think it's very. I consider it quite vain. Like I get asked sometimes. A couple of the lads said to me once, we'll go to Turkey. They'll pick us up in a nice car. They'll put us up in a 5-star hotel, and it's just a cheap little holiday. And you'll have hair when you come back. And I'm like, why? Like what do I, why? And it's not even that I'm not bald. I don't know obviously what your situation is exactly. Like I have a decent head of hair. It's just
No, you
sort of
don't. No, you
receding at the
don't.
front.
No, you
Have you not?
don't.
Come
No, you don't.
on.
You think you do. Trust me, you
Yeah.
don't. Yeah.
Well,
If you grew your hair, you couldn't pull it off as a head of hair.
Come on, I'm 6'6". No one's to know that, man. You gotta
Trust me,
give the game away.
You haven't. You can keep shaving.
See, the point is, I don't understand why you'd want a hair transplant. And maybe someone who's had one could give us a better insight as to what they sort of achieved out of it, or how it kind of made them feel different. You see what I mean? That's the only thing I can sort of put it down to, is maybe having hair or stuff would make you feel different. Because for all intents and purposes, you're still the same person. Your health is not going to change. You're not going to have any more opportunities.
Well, it depends on what kind of opportunities. And I mean, some women don't like bald men, I guess. And if someone's looking to get married, then they might get that head of hair just to increase their chances.
Yeah, but how many women do you need to like you?
Well, at least 4 in some people's cases. So,
Okay.
Omar says, I think when we were teenagers, most of parents were clean shaven. We're of that age now. The younger look up to see their fathers, uncles, their friends with beards. So I guess this generation and older have an influence on the younger as being the appearance to have. Yeah, we're always going to be some kind of role models, whether we want to or not, whether we like it or not. And when the younger generation see their older generation, and yeah, we are at that age now where we get called uncle more than bro. So, people are going to be looking at us, the younger generation, our younger generation, and take lessons from that to see, what they want to be like when they're older, or what they think they should be looking like when they're older. So if they see a 50, 60-year-old man wearing certain types of clothes or whatever those might be, they think that that's normal for them to do as well. I mean, some people can pull it off. Mashallah, we have a friend, Zahur, who, he's very, very well dressed and always sharply dressed, probably the best dressed person in our circles that I know of. And, his, and he pulls it off every single time. And he is slightly older than us. So, and I'm in my 40s. So what I'm saying is some people can pull it off and some people can't. So it depends on who you are and what you look like and how well you maintain yourself, I guess. It's actually a part of our religion as well, to look, smell good and, make sure we're looking good. So it's...
and I agree with Umar on that point, is that sort of when we were kids or when we were growing up, there really wasn't that many beards from the elder generation. And the ones
in my family, there were. In my family, all the men rocked beards.
Okay. But in your community as a whole?
Yeah, in my community it was mixed. Yeah, it was mixed.
Yeah. So, the few people that did have beards were sort of called Molvi Saab, Sufi Saab, Haji Saab, Molviya,
if you had a beard, you were expected to read a khatam or read a naat and do the tilawat at a function or lead the prayers, just because you had a beard.
And I'm so glad that we've done away with that stereotype, because the truth is, within our faith, beards aren't reserved for, sort of scholars or teachers or ustads or people who have done Hajj, Beards are for men.
Well,
All of them.
no, yeah, of course they're for men.
Yeah, but the point being, it's for all men.
Yeah.
It's not just.
I actually read, when many years ago, I was doing this research because for the last 15, 16 years now, I've been on a constant journey of trying to increase my knowledge about, religion and stuff. And, and there was, when it came to the topic of beard, there was a big debate in my mind because there are some strong opinions from different scholars about whether it's even an obligation or not. Yeah. I think most would say if it's not a farz, it's wajib. And some say it's sunnah. But here's the interesting one. I came across a hadith in Bayhaqi which actually mentioned that Hazrat Umar, I think, radiallahu anh, maybe wrong. If I'm wrong, that's from me. But I believe it was him who actually didn't take the testimony of somebody who didn't have a beard.
I've heard that. I don't know who it was, but I've heard that.
Yeah. So there is an emphasis in Islam for men to keep beards, and there's a debate as to what kind of a length that needs to be. But those who can, or those who have the ability to grow the beard, they should. But that's theology and that's religion. But generally speaking, I mean, we've spoken about beards, we've spoken about hair transplants. But now when you do have a beard, do you dye it or don't you? Is the question that I'm asking myself right now, to dye or not to dye. You know what? It's a tricky one. I've had a lot of people say not, and then a couple of people say maybe you should. But I'm not so sure. I'm genuinely at crossroads with this as to whether I should or not. On the one hand, I'm thinking I actually like having grays.
You know what? Obviously, look, be it your idea or someone else's or suggestion, yeah? Once you've had a suggestion or a tip or an advice or whatever, your first question is obviously going to be naturally is why? Yeah, same with a hair transplant. You want to know why would I or why should I even? Yeah. How do you answer that? So for yourself, obviously, look, your beard is very mashallah, yeah? And, the way that is sort of graying or silver or, the white hairs, whatever, is then naturally, yours could almost be dyed partially to get that effect. You see what I mean? So you've got the solid black coming down here.
In the
you've
middle,
got a little bit of silver on either side. And then, you just got a little bit going on there. So I think maybe if you didn't have that and it was really sort of all over the place, you might have, you might think about it a little bit more. But as it is, why would you even consider it?
I don't know. I just thought, you know what, just for the sake of uniformity. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it might look good. It might look better. I don't know. It was just a thought, which I entertained because a couple of people mentioned it. My relatives mentioned, because since I've grown my beard, they can see more grays, right? And I say, wow, you've got a lot of grays in your beard. And when people say something, it just kind of makes you think more about that thing because they added the wow factor into it. Like, wow, you've got grays in your beard. I said, oh yeah, I have actually, yeah. And so the thought comes into your mind, doesn't it? Should I dye it or should I not dye it? Should I just leave it? Because I actually like the idea of having, the silvers in there. I think it looks all right, but could it look better?
I think it looks better. I've seen people with a solid black beard, and look, the fact that they're in their 50s or 60s just makes it a bit more odd, yeah. But jet black beard, no, I don't know. It doesn't. I can't see it improving anything.
I think the difficulty is maintaining that. If you dye your hair, then maintaining it is going to be the difficult part, because especially with people who've got beards, because if you've got hair, white hairs, then you're going to, my hair grows really quickly. You know what? I mean, I could probably grow this back within a couple of months of this length, from clean shaven.
How long could you grow this?
That would probably take me about 3.5 months, 4 months.
Really? Max. So you could go from 0 to this?
To 3.5, 4 months, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, my hair grows really, really testosterone, bro. Okay. But yeah, it's
enjoy it while you can, bro.
But you know what? So the question is, how do you maintain it, or do you even want to just start down? Because when you dye it, you're going to have to. Because if I've got hair growth that really quick, then I'm going to have to keep dyeing it, aren't I? And if you don't dye it, then seeing those grays come through, and those when you see grays come through in anyone's hair, you can tell somebody has dyed their hair, and there's no point, is there? So you think, should I just leave it? It's high maintenance, I guess. I don't think I would want that.
I think the whole idea of it as a whole it's silly. It's quite vain. I don't know why you'd want to do stuff like that. Whether it's the hair on your head or your beard, I think you should just embrace it. There's such a thing as sort of overdoing it, and
no, I don't think dyeing is overdoing it. In fact, it's we there've been even in our Islamic history that's it's actually been encouraged to dye your hair if you so wish. But the only time it's forbidden is if you're going to try and cheat someone into thinking you're younger than you actually are. If you're going to propose to someone, that's the only time. But Omar says, I'm younger than you, Majid, and I have more grays and silver than you. I've dyed mine previously, but the annoying factor is the maintenance around our busy schedule. The roots become visible gray, and it starts to look untidy. And that's my fear. I don't want it to be a case like half of my beard is black, and then some of it up there is just white and the rest is black. It just looks
can
really,
you dye
really
it
weird.
though? From a theological point of view, can you dye your beard?
Yeah, you can.
Can you dye it black?
Yeah, you can.
I'm not sure about that. I've heard of mehndi being applied. But again, if it's for the intention of sort of looking younger or hiding your grays, then that's not what it was for.
Yeah, exactly.
What it is for, I don't know. If you, let's say you're not allowed to sort of try and hide your whites or hide your sort of whatever, but you are allowed to apply mehndi, then what does it really leave if it's not to sort of hide your grays and your whites or to look maybe younger?
Well, there is, you're right. There's a debate between some scholars in terms of whether you're allowed to use black or not, and for what purpose you're doing that. I've come across the differences, like in opinions from amongst the scholars, but the conclusion that I came to from my limited knowledge and research is that it's permissible as long as it's not done for the wrong reasons. In terms of, like you mentioned, you're not looking to get married to somebody who thinks you're a lot younger because you've got darker hair, no grays, and it's the same goes. And the same goes. The Shari Hukam same goes. If you've got if you're wearing a wig, if you're wearing false teeth. Yeah, if you're wearing false teeth, if you're wearing a wig or anything like that, when you go to propose, you have to turn up in your natural state so the woman knows exactly what you look like. But then if you flip that on the coin, when you got
absolutely, let's flip it on the coin, bro.
Yeah, and then you got women.
You can claim for being missold PPI these days, but you can't claim for being, I don't even want to think about it.
As I said, I've dyed using brown color for special occasions. Can't believe how long it takes. Been to Pakistan and amazed how everyone's dyed their hairs and beards, probably because they have so much spare time. You're probably right. Ambreen says, I think you should dye your beard pink. It will suit you. My brother says, Sajid, I heard you can't use black, but you can use any other color. Yeah, I've come across that debate. I mean, there is a difference.
But then the question then is that under what sort of reasoning is it allowed? If it's not obviously to make you look younger or anything else. But look, that aside, me personally, I don't see the point of wanting to dye your hair or wear a wig or maybe have I'm just really boring, aren't I? Can't have a transplant, can't wear a wig, can't dye your beard. What can you do?
Well, that's your personal preference. That's your personal decision, isn't it? Not everyone's going to be the same as you, but ultimately, it's going to be everybody else's their own personal decision and what they prefer to do.
I think when it comes to this sort of stuff, you should first go back to basics and figure out what the rights and from the wrongs.
What's permissible and what's not permissible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think if you start on that basis, and then from everything that's permissible, you take what you wish, isn't it? You take what you desire.
Yeah, interesting. Omar says black is permissible during war to make your warriors look young and to create fear in the opposition. What about if you're going to war in the boxing ring or any kind of kushti or wrestling or anything like that? That could be considered war.
I don't think so. I think it's
what if you're going to war with your wife at home? You want to kind of dash it. Maybe
There's no dashad, bro. There's there's no dashad.
that shit doesn't work in the home, does it not, Ali? No.
No, it really doesn't, bro. I've tried a couple of times.
You're outnumbered anyway, so I can't see that working for you. But yeah, so well, there you have it. There you have it. So I think ultimately it's down to the individual, isn't it? So yeah, I think personally, I thought about it. I've entertained the idea. I'm still at crossroads at times, but I'm more leaning towards not dying because of what Yasser and Omar have mentioned about dying, and then the roots showing, and then the maintenance, and why bother? Why bother?
The transplant, then. What did you say on the transplant? What's your views on it? Would you?
Not now. I wouldn't.
Let's say it's made super convenient. You can just, I don't know, put a cap on or a balm on overnight, and you wake up in the morning and you've got hair. Would you do it?
Man, now that's another question, isn't it? I don't think I don't know. Then I won't. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe I would, just to try it. I mean, in worst case scenario, I can still shave my head, can't I?
You know, I asked a similar question in regards to physique. Yeah. Because look, going to gym for me has never been the problem. Not that I go, but if I had to go, if I was to go, I'm pretty sure I could go in there and do 30, 40 minutes, regardless of what it is. Yeah, the weights, the reps, everything, and then go back out. Yeah, so it's just in and out. I'm a very sort of to the point person. But to me, the sacrifice isn't of lifting the weights in the gym. It's the other 23 and a half hours. It's what you eat. It's how you sleep. It's sort of how you live. And I've often wondered, if it was super easy, like at what point am I okay to, like, let's say, for example, if I went a day without eating cheeseburgers or, snacks, and I could have had a good physique, would I do it? And even then I may sort of falter at the first hurdle, but then I think, okay, what if it took a week to get a six pack? Okay, so a week with no pizza, no kebabs, no burgers, no, cheese on toast. And then you say, okay, so at what point am I okay up to? And truth be told, man, it's a lot of discipline, and you'd be able to do it if you wanted to enough, isn't it? What would be your cutoff point? At what point would you be willing to sort of sacrifice? I don't even know what food you like. Like, what's your sort of guilty pleasures?
Everyone knows that I have a weakness for sweetness. So anything to do with ice creams, desserts, I'm on my knees. But saying that, you know what? It all depends on how much you want something. If it's worth it, you do it. That's the bottom line. If you really want something, you will make the sacrifices.
Yeah.
It's not that you don't have a problem with going to the gym. You just don't want it enough.
Yeah,
that's the bottom line.
And that's what I say to myself.
You don't want a six pack enough to give up on the burgers and the chips and stuff. You don't want to even have a healthy body enough to give up on them. Dare I even say? And a lot of us would fall under that category at times.
This is the reality. Yeah, this is true. Yeah. This is true. What do you think most men sort of cut off is like? Look, there's obviously the really disciplined ones out there, and I commend them. Because you know what,
there's a brother, I think it's Abu Musa, who's connected with me recently, and I watched one of his interviews, and he's really in the gym and really regimented in his exercise. Somebody mentioned in the live stream the other day, last week I think it was, or maybe earlier this week, last week, he actually went to a wedding, took his own lunchbox with him, because he didn't want to eat the wedding food. That's how conscious he was at that point.
I know people like that. Yeah, I know people like that. And the thing is, it's a hell of a discipline. It can be done, but people tell me, the people that do it, they're like, after a while, it becomes, I don't know, how do you translate nasha? Like, the
intoxicating,
the feeling,
addictions,
yeah. So the sort of feeling that they get from eating clean or lean or going to the gym. They go, look, it's just unbeatable. I've known people who have, not had a cheat day in a while. Yeah, maybe a month or two will pass, and then they'll eat like a doner kebab or even handi roti. Like, imagine for us, desis, handi roti is not a cheat meal. That's just a meal. Yeah, and they'll have that, and they'll feel terrible afterwards, and they're like, why did I do that to myself? I'm never having another cheat day again.
There was a point where I used to go to the gym very, very regularly, every day, in fact. And I remember one day I had a halal Subway with meatballs in it. And
Nice.
that evening, when I went to the gym, I actually felt the difference in my performance in the gym, in my cardio. I mean, I would run for a whole hour straight. And that day I noticed that I couldn't, I was feeling it. I still did it, but I was feeling it. So it was, people who are into that kind of a lifestyle, like heavily, they will be able to tell. They will notice the difference in their bodies quite instantly. Even with sugars, those who have sugars, and if they give up sugars, they say your body feels so much better without the sugar intake. But I wouldn't have a clue what that feels like. I don't think I don't think I ever will, to be, if I'm totally honest.
You're
I'm
not
the kind of guy,
likely to find out anytime soon, are you?
dude. I'm the kind of guy, you can take me for a buffet meal or any meal, I can skip everything and go straight to dessert. I can skip starters and mains and go straight for the dessert and just stick with dessert.
This is me at a buffet. When you go to sort of, any of our local sort of nawabs, riyabs, whatever, yeah, shahi masala. One simple round of starters, and then 2, possibly 3 rounds of dessert, and that's me done. That is done. Mains and stuff don't even interest me.
Yeah, sounds about reasonable. It depends on what's on the mains, and if it's something different, then you might just take a small portion just to taste it more than anything else, and then enjoy the dessert, man. Who wouldn't enjoy a dessert? I just don't think people are normal if they don't enjoy dessert.
Is there a point where we throw the wardrobe out and start again?
I don't think it's as clear cut as that. I think it's always going to be a gradual thing. I don't think it's going to be.
Have you ever pulled out a piece of clothing that you've not worn in a few years and thought, I wonder if,
I wonder if I wore it or if it still fitted. That's the question.
If I can still pull it off, yeah. Can be
if I can still pull it off.
Even a hat or a jacket or some shoes.
I've got a few suits from, I think the Armani suits, and they're quite expensive. I think at least a couple of £1,000 each. When I was in my early 20s, I bought them. We had, we were always wearing suits and whatnot. And I got a couple of them out, and I haven't got the heart to just kind of donate them or chuck them away. I know the trousers doesn't fit anymore. I'm not even the right size of trousers anymore. The jacket was all right, but I haven't got. But when it comes to, for example, suits, I had like 22 suits in the wardrobe which I gave away because they don't follow. They're not kind of evergreen type of suits, or the ones that you could pull off even in this era. There's some checkered type of suits with boot cuts, which don't work nowadays. They might come back because that's what happens usually with the trends, don't they? The flares and the boot cuts, came back, and now they've gone away. They might come back again. But I had a good few suits with, boot cut trousers, and I know they won't. So I just gave them away. But there's one thing: knowing or thinking about whether some piece of item or clothing would suit you now because you wore it in your youth, and there's one thing trying to pull that off in contemporary times when it's not maybe appropriate with the trends and stuff. Not to say that I'm a trendy kind of guy, or like I said, I always try to I always dress differently to the norm or the crowd, but it is what it is, I guess. If you've bought clothes which are kind of plain, or you've put thought into those clothes, number one, with the way they look on you, and number two, the fitting, and number three, the colors, or whether the trend is right, then just wear it if you want to. If they don't, they don't. Shalwar kameez is a classic example. A lot of shalwar kameez still I mean, I very rarely wear them unless I'm in Pakistan. Otherwise, I'm wearing thobes. I remember you seeing me in shalwar kameez a few weeks ago and saying, I don't think I've ever seen you in shalwar kameez before.
Yeah.
And that was a very rare occasion.
Do you
But
think
yeah,
there's
let me ask the same question to you. Let's flip it on its head. Have you come across any items of clothing which you've pulled
mm,
out and it's an old item of clothing and you've thought about it and thought, can I still pull this off? Is it an age thing? Is that what you're saying? At this age, can you still pull off
I
wearing
think
clothes that you
so.
wore in your 20s?
I think when it comes to dress sense and age, and maybe even the sort of, the crowd that you hang around with, I believe that there can be misfits, you know? Um,
But for them, the others are misfits.
well, you,
They can
if
be.
I,
But it's a personal preference. Look, I've seen people who wear blue with black. Blue doesn't go with
mm,
black.
mm.
Most shades of blue don't go with black. Black goes with everything apart from blue most of the times.
Wait, what?
Um,
I didn't know that. No one told me.
yeah, you just don't just unless it's jeans and then you got a black I don't know, polo neck or something, that would look all right, or a black shirt or a
Okay,
t-shirt even. There are
okay.
certain blacks that don't go with blues, and it's that kind of thing. It's like people wearing really light tanned shoes with uh jet black trousers or jeans, and they don't go. I suppose if you're if you know these, or you're into that kind of thing, and then you're
Yeah.
conscious of those things, you are. But if you're not, you're not.
I was just, it got me thinking. I was like, if I was to see, like an uncle, someone that we would call uncle, not us being the uncles, our 40, but someone that we would call an uncle in,
Yeah,
I don't know,
in the
jeans, maybe
60s,
a
70s.
tracksuit. Yes,
Okay.
in
Yeah,
jeans and a tracksuit, maybe in a sort of
yeah.
football top.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. You know,
Then it would depend on the body type whether they pull it off or not. If they're athletic and they're keeping fit, yeah, all good. If they're
mm,
not, and the tit is coming out and it's stretching the shirt beyond its limits, and you can see the seams being tested on the sides,
mm.
then of course not. Don't wear
So
it.
you think a lot of it is more sort of body type and physique rather than maybe at what stage or age?
It's the overall look.
Mm,
It's not age, it's the overall look. You could be in your 60s and 70s, have a full head of hair, grays, right?
mm,
And really look cool, right? You could wear trousers and shirts and all sorts of things. Yeah, you could wear, jeans and whatever. You're thinking anyone wears in their youth. You could wear it as an older guy if your physique is good. But if you've got like hair coming around the sides and the back, nothing on top, it's overgrown on the sides and the back, and then you've
mm,
got a kid coming out and you're wearing an Armani t-shirt because it's Armani, it's not going to make you
mm.
look any better. You could wear whatever you want. It doesn't matter of the brand. The brand doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what
Yeah.
item of clothing it is.
The
You just
hair's
got
an
to
interesting one. People who have got nothing on top, but they
yeah.
sort of overgrow what is around the sides. When I say sides, I mean way down the sides.
Okay. Yeah. I know some people who will grow it. Back in the days, they used to do this a lot. They used to grow one side a lot and then flip it over. Yeah. To cover the top. Yeah, and there are some people who will. I've got relatives like this. They've got hair on the sides and the back. They've got nothing on the top. Airport khaliya. So they'll
Yeah.
grow the sides and the back, and they'll put a cap on. It
It's
works for them. It
creative.
works for them.
Give them that.
Yeah. So whatever works for different people. If it works, it works.
Mm.
If it doesn't, it doesn't. Just be worried if the wind blows quite high speed, velocity.
And they said it's easy being a man, didn't they? They say women have all the problems and the troubles, and we really have our own stuff going on. We don't seem to get it addressed as often enough.
Yeah, I think most of these conversations take place behind closed doors. But even then, I think most men are quite shy about talking on this topic. They're not
Mm.
they're not confident to talk about receding hairlines, losing teeth, and beard problems and all sorts of things. Most men aren't comfortable talking about
Mm.
personal kind of challenges like that.
See, you see
So
both sides of the coin, and I think most of them on both sides are a little bit extreme. Um, people who like to look after themselves probably overdo it, a lot of them. And then the other ones that
When you say
really
overdo it, what do you mean?
neglect it. Like you were saying earlier about how makeup is now a thing,
Oh,
facials
for
are a
men,
thing.
yeah.
You know, it's sort of this threading and waxing and, you know, all this kind of things going on in anything more than maybe a bar of soap or, you know, can we stretch to more moisturizer? I don't know. I don't personally.
No, I think that's you personally. I think some people need it.
Yeah.
So, you know, some people have a need to be. I mean, I was talking to somebody who was it talking to just yesterday. Yeah, they were saying that now because they have showers so like 2-3 times a day sometimes because of the sports that they play. Some of the body has kind of they have eczema symptoms or dry skin, so they have to use moisturizers like behind the knees, elbows, on the
that's a
face.
completely different thing. What I'm saying is, look, I think generally us as men, we need to kind of find our middle ground. Is that you should look after yourself, look after your body, you know, your outer health, your inner health. It is important. So don't neglect it. Don't let that belly just go, you know, go for broke. But at the same time, it's not, everything isn't about how you look or what people see or, you know.
Some people it is.
Then that's them, innit? I think generally.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Each to their own. Each to their own.
Yeah, but you could say that with anything, though, innit?
Yeah, you can actually.
Yeah, I mean, what would you? What?
But would that be a wrong conclusion to come to?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's how you end up with 99 genders.
No, but you have your own opinions, but each person ultimately will do what befits them, what they decide to do.
Yeah, look, it's always going to be what it's going to be. Yeah,
That's just not saying it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Each
It would
to
just
their
be
own.
nice. It would just
How's
be
that any
nice to
different?
see men taking better care of themselves, and so
And
they
that could include you shaving
makeup.
your head more often, as we were discussing before we went live. And,
Yeah, I need to keep on top of that. I don't mind it like this.
Tinder's king, Tinder's jump king.
Yeah.
And then also it could include men using moisturizers because they need to use moisturizers. It could mean having a facial because there are so much grime and stuff in certain people's skins that it needs to be extracted every once in a while. So what?
Yeah, no, I think we're
But
different.
then, I think for me, I tell you where I think it gets kind of uneasy for me is when people start doing the shaping of eyebrows, plucking and shaping of eyebrows, and to make them look thinner and perfect and stuff. You know, that kind of thing. For me, I think that then is going the next stage. Whether it's right or wrong, it depends on someone's eyebrows, I guess. If they've got like big, thick ones that are completely unnatural looking, and to correct that, they take the middle bit off, and I don't know. But then if it's a case of imitating women, then that's a no-no for me.
Yeah, I think obviously from our sort of perspective, men aren't allowed to correct a monobrow, whereas obviously women are sort of encouraged to do that because not to resemble men. But yeah, man, interesting, very interesting.
Well, that was a light-hearted conversation for a change, isn't it? I'm glad it was.
It's always good to have one every now and
again. I've had
a
long day today. I don't think I could have coped with a very deep and meaningful conversation today.
I think it was deep. It was very meaningful.
A deep and meaningful, manly conversation in front of a whole audience.
Yeah,
fair enough.
They're the best ones.
Yeah, sometimes they are, aren't they? So, next week's topic: School of Hard Knocks.
You didn't want to get that one wrong, did you?
I had to quickly check. Yeah, School of Hard Knocks. So we hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Obviously, men probably don't talk about these things very often, especially on a public platform. So it's always nice to kind of break some barriers there and discuss. A lot of these are going to be personal opinions. You may agree, you may disagree. But at least if it opens up the doors to having these conversations. Maybe we can get somewhere with helping each other. I hope my beard tips helped somebody out there. And I hope we can continue having these discussions in the future. Ali, any parting words?
No, I think we're good, man. Looking forward to next week's topic. Yeah, just keep it real, guys. Die or not to die. No,
to die or not to die.
Don't die.
Not dying today. What's that Bond? Is this a Bond movie called? What was the Bond movie? Something to die? Something to do with dying.
I don't know. Wasn't it Live and Let Live?
No, I thought there was a dying one. Or am I talking about Die Hard? I don't know. Whatever it is, to die or not today. I think we're not dying today. Yeah, we're going to keep the grace. On that note, have a good night, and we will see you soon. Take care.